Good morning, folks. I'm on the beautiful island of Madeira in Portugal, doing an early morning hike. Today, I'd like to talk about the recruitment and which interview is the most important one in order to get the best talent for your team. So for those of you senior people in the chat who got a job some 25 years ago and for whatever reason never switched, you may be asking why someone needs more than one interview and what do they check there. One interview is never enough to get a good offer, so there are several of them. Let's dive deep a bit. I remember when switching jobs was as simple as switching the rooms in the office building. You've been referenced and then next day you have a task assigned in another company and you keep coding. These days companies are checking way more skills, and even if you have a solid portfolio and you are referenced, most likely you still have to go through the round of interviews. Why this is the case? So it's a rhetorical question why it's not 1995 anymore. Yes, these days the business, even an average small business, is way more dependent on the IT and infrastructure than some 20-25 years ago. That's why the responsibility of people who hire and the responsibility of the employee is way higher than years back. On the other hand, there are way more people and they compete with each other, so why not to take an opportunity for a company to try to get the best ones? And yeah, there are simply more technologies and we apply more skills than many years ago. And when you are hiring, of course, you want to get people and have a proper experience with all the technologies. Extremely nice hike along these levadas. So what are the typical interviews? As you may know, first you send your CV and it is checked either by an automatic system or by an HR. Then usually there is a talk with the hiring manager who checks basic team fit stuff, and then comes several interviews in a row like general technologies, system design, and of course the coding interview. So a short reference to the classics. Joel Spolsky, the author of famous Joel and Software, some 20 years ago wrote an article on the recruitment, and his motto was like, the candidate should be smart and have things done. And another statement was that if you are as a recruiter or as a hiring manager have a little bit of a doubt, then it's a drop, it's a no. And that was really insightful some 20 years ago. I think it's quite actual these days as well. The issue is that if you have a doubt, then drop. The problem is that I almost always have a doubt. So I will drop almost any candidate because nobody is perfect. And this is not easy because you keep rejecting people and you don't send an offer to anyone because no one is hitting your bar. So you may of course continue, but actually I'd like to understand whether I actually may tolerate lack of certain skills and focus on the importance of some other skills, and therefore send an offer, maybe not the top one, but an acceptable one. So I may hire someone with the potential. So the question is how to recognize the potential. And the point here is actually the potential comes with the coding skills, not with the system design or general technologies. So yeah, I think only if a candidate passed the coding interview, then you are somehow confident that he's smart and he gets things done. Many skills can be learned at the job, which is not the case with the coding skills. If you don't know certain type of database, or you don't know how to optimize a query, or you have never worked with Kafka, you may simply pick up the assignment, read the documentation and solve the problem. Coding is a bit like playing a piano. You can't read a manual and become a good piano player. You really need years of practice in order to master this. The same things with the coding. So you can't simply copy-paste stuff and call it a day. You really need to face many challenges and you need to write a lot of code. in order to make sure and understand how to do this fast and with acceptable quality. Therefore, coding is an essential skill. I was once interviewing for a team who was dropping all the candidates after the general tech interview, those candidates who could not properly design a REST API. You know, all these URLs where you cannot use verb in the URL because the action is actually HTTP method, and how to structure your URL, so it should be resourceful. So I must say that this team still has best designed REST APIs ever. The problem is that these systems barely work. Something went wrong. But what? That is essentially it. Some folks may be saying that companies and recruiters give them assignments that are completely irrelevant for what they're gonna do at the job. Yes, sometimes it happens, but if you are a hiring manager, please design your coding assignment so that it makes sense, so that it's relevant, that you are checking the right skills, that you are checking the competencies that you need at the job from the candidate. But even if you are a candidate and you are asked for something that you know definitely will not be used on everyday job, that's fine, because that's the only way for the company to check whether you are smart and get things done. Yes, and good luck with your interviews and good luck with find good candidates. Have a nice day. If you think what I said makes sense, like this video. I'm finishing my hike. It's time for breakfast. Ciao.